the one and only Goldberg, who joins us here. Sir, how are you? And thank you so much for the time.
It's a good morning wake-up call. Thank you, gentlemen.
Well, thank you.
My
because
fellow Hall of Fame inductee, Bill, how are you this morning, my brother?
I'm okay, brother. How are you, man?
Good to see you.
It's a pleasure, man. Been too long.
Yep.
Now, you both went in the same class in New Orleans,
Yes,
right?
we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, seems like just yesterday.
From what I remember, it was Bill. I have a great picture of me, you, and Sting from that night. I had so much fun being inducted. I would have never have thought that I would have that much fun. Like I've said before, like it was really important for me to get inducted into the Hall of Fame for Devon because Devon has children. I wanted his children to be able to see him get inducted. How was that night for you?
Oh man, overwhelming, undeserved, a whole plethora of emotions throughout that night. Am I going to say the right things? Am I going to include everybody? No, I didn't. I forgot freaking Sting, and he's standing right in front of me. And what an integral part of my career, right? And so there's so much of a responsibility in a night like that again, I didn't have as much fun as I should have had because I never really live in the moment. I'm always too worried about covering everything, getting all the bases covered. So I had a great time. And again, man, the only thing I ever wanted to accomplish business-wise was to be able to make it to a point where I could have kids follow in my footsteps and be a good example. And I said it in the speech, the induction speech, but my dream was always to do it in the NFL. And I got cut short mainly because of talent, but, because of an injury. And that dream was never accomplished. I got into wrestling, and I found out that being inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame was bigger for the goal that I wanted to accomplish than ever being inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame, right? So it was in a nutshell, it was a night to remember, man. And to be inducted with a guy like you who is so deserving, it was cool, man. I was again felt like I was in a place that I didn't really deserve to be. So it was great.
But Bill, I got to ask you, why do you think it was undeserved? You had one hell of a career.
Yeah, but I wasn't the stereotypical wrestler, right? So I didn't appreciate it as much as a person like yourself, right? Who aspired to do that his entire life. Good, bad, or indifferent. It just wasn't something that I chose to follow until I had to, until I needed to, until I had no other really, I mean, I had options, but it was the most palatable option that I had. And it again, for so many people who have dedicated their lives to the craft, I always will forever feel guilty that I get any accolade. But the reality is, being in the right time in the right place and understanding how to capitalize on that genie in a bottle. I mean, yeah, I mean, I deserve to have a pat on the back and whatever. But again, it's something that was never a lifelong pursuit of mine. It was in a way that I described to you by being inducted in the Hall of Fame and what it meant to me for the kid impact thing. But you know what I mean, Bully. You know exactly what
I appreciate the honesty of the answer. I believe what you're saying is because you didn't have the same passion, and this is not exactly what you wanted to do for a living. You felt very lucky for the opportunities, and that's why maybe it was undeserved as a person like me who, as a kid, who always wanted to be a pro wrestler and lived out his dream.
1,000%. I couldn't have eloquated it better. You lived it, you saw it, you were part of it, and you understand it. So.
Gotcha, my brother.
Question for me, and this is coming from a dad, but how important was it for you to have that last run with the WWE to be able to perform in front of your family, in front of your son?
Oh, it was integral in the cap of my career. I could talk on it for hours, but I never wanted to get my family involved ever. That just wasn't part of the Goldberg shtick, right? I was an invincible, uncaring monster in the ring, but I never wanted to have that crutch. I never wanted to have it as a storyline, right? Until I retired for 15 years and I wasn't 300 pounds anymore, and I had to come back with some type of a crutch, right? Some type of a bullseye that I hadn't had before, that overcompensates for something else. So, as a father, I mean, it was awesome. It was unbelievable. It's like having your kid out, after you won the Super Bowl, hoisting the trophy with you. I mean, to have your family be part of it in such a special time, it's something I will forever be grateful to Vince McMahon for.
Let's talk about the documentary, Dave. Go.
Yeah, because I want to get into who killed WCW, because this has obviously been a major talking point, sir, on this show. We had Medusa on last week, and she had high praise for you and what you were going through at that time as well. Here we are. It's 2024, and there's a 4-part documentary on WCW, and it made the kind of impact that we're talking about it, over 20 years after the doors closed. Did you ever think, or even when it was finished, that it was going to have the kind of impact that it did?
Oh, no question. Anytime any business is monopolized, you're going to concentrate on the downfall of its competitor. I mean, I got into the business at a time that, it was as fruitful as it ever could be. And I was lucky to be in that right place at the right time. And it was a wild ride, and there was a lot of shit that went on, good, bad, or indifferent. And to have Monday Night Football move an hour in their time slot, to have Dennis Miller come on and try to steal the fans away from that time slot that wrestling owned at that time, sure as hell, the downfall of the major competitor is going to be looked upon and evaluated, and everybody's going to try to point the finger at what actually happened. But unless you really lived it, it's tough to really understand that it was a combination of so many different things. It was a great time, and to come to a screeching halt like that, there had to be some bad shit behind the curtain going on. So, it was a combination of a lot of things.
Bill, I'd like to take you back to a moment in time in your career and a moment in time in the documentary, which shocked both me and Dave. I was able to relate to it, and it just really resonated with me for a lot of different reasons. I'm going to take you back to 3 words that you uttered on that documentary. I don't know. Your match with Scott Hall, something goes wrong in the ring. Scott basically chastises you, yells at you, whatever. What the F are you doing? And you say, I don't know. Brother, I understood what you were saying in that moment, because I understand what it feels like to not know and to be in a moment in time where you feel like you can be getting exposed. How difficult is it for a man's man like you are, former pro football player in the world of pro wrestling, to have to sit there and say, I don't know?
Hey, man, you know me, dude. I don't give a flying shit about anybody's opinion about anything. The fact is that I've been a professional at a number of things. And if I don't know something, I have no problem giving it up and being honest, because I'm a man's man, but a man has to admit, his inadequacies, right? His faults, his inability to do certain things. And I have Barry Bloom that does all my financials in the world of wrestling. If I thought that I knew everything, I'd be doing my own stuff. But I'm smart enough to farm out the people who get paid and the people who are the best at what they do. And when you're in the ring, when you're in a situation, you know, and I'll liken it to the Regal deal, right? I mean, you know me, dude. I mean, what do you think I wanted to do in a situation like that? But I did. The whole part of wrestling that I was cast into with such elite characters and people in the business, I didn't know jack. And I was there for I was always reaching my hand out for someone to help me and pull me up. You know, the Regal deal, same thing. If I would have known that it was supposed to be a stiff back and forth, like a Yuji Nagata kind of deal, I would have gone for it. But I was waiting for him to lead me. And I was waiting for Scott Hall to lead me because I wouldn't intentionally, in front of millions of people in my underwear in a business that I don't know, screw up and do anything on purpose to where it would take away from the flow of me being able to get through that 15 minutes so that I can get to the next one, you know? So if it's a football play, I'm good. 1,000%. Call that defense and I'll show you, get behind me. I'll show you exactly what to do. But in a situation where I'm not the leader by any stretch. And if any business proves that you need two to dance, it's freaking wrestling. What the hell would I be doing to screw up, you know, my plan and the plan? So, yeah, that's in a nutshell, you know, my existence. I mean, hey man, I've got a heart, man. I do, as a human being. And so coming into a business like this that can be so ravenous, I got screwed so many times, you know, but I just forgot about it and I went on. I'm an elephant. I don't forget anything, but I know who helped me on the way up and I know who didn't. And I know, and I'm not stupid. And I was a psychology major. I played football in the NFL for 4 years. Don't think I'm a freaking moron that doesn't understand people and what they do and why they do it. Right. So, but my entire existence, except for when I was trying to protect my character for my longevity, was basically in the learning mode. I mean, guys like Sting, you know, guys like Luger, guys like Kevin Nash, you know, a lot of times guys like Bret Hart, you know, the Steiner brothers, I mean, Ming and Barbarian, all the bad boys, all the freaking men who were the characters. Those are the guys who taught me the business. And I'm forever grateful that anybody would give me the time to teach me a new craft. But at the end of the day, if you're moronic enough to keep something or to intentionally derail somebody, when you understand that it's the entirety is what it's all about. It's big team, little me. The big guy Goldberg can't be 175-0 if there's not 175 guys that are willing to make me look good, right? And if there's anyone in the history of time in the wrestling business that understands that, it's me. And, you know, I never had any malicious intent screwing any match up by any means because I just didn't know. So in a long diatribe, you know, that's my explanation of that.
So for you, you're in the NFL, you're a part of football, you're with the Falcons, you're a part of a team. I think Glanville was the head coach at that time when you were playing, right?
Glanville and June Jones my last year.
So you're with a team atmosphere. So how difficult was it to transition to pro wrestling where, you know, there is a lot of jealousy and there is you know, politics and backstabbing? Like, how difficult was that transition for you?
It was horrible, but it was what it was. And I'm not going to bitch and moan and cry about it. I mean, it's the situation. You know, I came in there and, you know, Dwayne Bruce and everybody at the power plant thought that they were going to make me quit. But they didn't realize that I'd just come from a football field where 350-pound guys were trying to bury my freaking head every play. So you ain't going to make me quit. No one's going to make me quit. You know, it's all based upon what you've done in the past and relating it to what you have to do in the future. And, you know, wrestling was a different, like I said, I've said it many times. Sting is the one that finally made me pull the trigger to become a professional wrestler. Sting and the Steiner brothers and DDP, but Sting as a man, as a father, as a husband, showed me that it can be done. And so I followed his lead. He taught me through osmosis. He didn't pull me over to the side after every, event and tell me what to do. But I learned by watching it. And I learned by watching guys like the Steiner brothers who were competitive athletes for real. And now they're in this business and they've adapted and overcome and they've succeeded exponentially. And so you try to follow guys like that.
Bill, you've had so many ups and downs in your career, and you've dealt with a lot of BS outside of the ring of other people's opinions. I know you don't give a shit of their opinions of you, but yes or no question, have you enjoyed your time being a professional wrestler and in this business?
Yes and no, that because of certain times, but as a whole, I would have to say yes. I mean, there's no question about it. Absolutely. And I'm forever grateful of all the fans, that would think that I did something right to be entertained by me, and for all the kids, because the kids are the reason why I did it. That, and, I would have gone to jail or I would have been lobotomized because it was a way for me to accept, that I didn't make it in football, and I was able to have a release, and I was able to reinvent myself and try to become someone different, though not someone traditional, just someone different. I brought something different. It was the Mike Tyson era. It was the MMA era. It was the onset of a couple of things that were pretty monumental. And I had a love for mixed martial arts, and I thought that it was pretty entertaining to have a 300-pound guy do a back handspring, although it was kind of goofy. But, I just tried to create something different. And I didn't try to be like anybody else, but I tried to be as good as I could be at you guys' given profession, right? And again, for guys like you to let guys like me in, I'll be forever grateful because y'all didn't have to do that.
All right, the documentary is Who Killed WCW. So the obvious question is, in your opinion, it was a monster. For 83 weeks, it dominated. Your T-shirt was everywhere.
It was a combination of a lot of things. It was, from what I understand, Ted Turner was overseas. He was out of the country when all this happened. Some of the higher ups had an ulterior motive. It was the merger that had a lot to do with it. When I look back on it and I say Russo killed it, Russo didn't kill it. Russo was just kind of a prick, and I didn't like him, and I didn't understand the business, and maybe he was great for what we needed at the time. But I look back on him and that time in my career, and hey man, obviously I didn't get it. Because me turning heel would have been a monumental thing, but I just didn't feel it was the right thing to do for my reasoning for coming into the business, which told everyone exactly that I don't understand the business that much. But like I said, there were so many things that made it go awry, and I was hurt most of the final number of months. And so I really didn't see what went on day to day, but it was a shit show. And I didn't know how a wrestling I was still learning again, so I didn't know what was going on. I just kind of held on and wished for the best,
Bill, when did you start to get it? When did the light bulb go off and you start to realize that this is a little bit of a dirty industry with some not so nice people involved in it?
I think when I started riding with Kevin,
Okay.
Because he taught me the underbelly of the business, and he taught me the great side of the business. He was the best teacher you ever could have had because he was is brilliant, and he's, he knows it all pretty much. And Hogan had a huge influence on me. And I remember a number of things that he taught me, and I stayed the course. And the Steiner brothers helped me out exponentially. Rick Rude, Henning, everybody, the old school guys, man. I mean, Ming, Barb, Bobby Eaton. I mean, I was fortunate enough to have an unbelievable group around me. I mean, guys that really did care, and there were others, but you need adversity, right, to learn and to grow. It was just I was too giving a person in the beginning of my wrestling career, because I believed everything that anybody told me that was in the business. Anything, because I didn't think that people were as vindictive, and it was that type of business, because again, it's a freaking team and it's fiction. I mean, come on, man. I mean, the more money I make as a top guy, the more money everybody makes. And I can't be that top guy if it wasn't for the guys who helped me climb up that ladder. So it's a simple equation. Unfortunately, emotions and egos and testosterone, being thrown into it, what happens. So, I mean, it's life in a microcosm. You just got to learn to deal with it.
Is it kind of like opening up old wounds by talking about WCW again? Like, and again, we saw it in the last episode with Bret Hart and what Bret Hart had to say about you. Is this like a constant opening up or pressing of a wound for you?
No, not anymore. It's a part of an experience. It's part of history, and it's good, bad, or indifferent. Those situations make you grow as a human being, and it's made me who I am today. I may not be nearly as gullible as I was in the past, right? But it's hardened me in a lot of ways, but I'm pretty cool with the person that I've become. The Bret Hart thing is just saddens me as a human being. That's all. I mean, first and foremost, I would never wish ill will upon any opponent or anyone like that. To have an accident like that happen and end someone's career, especially someone who's, one of the best that ever was, 100%. It sucks. And, I'm not asking anybody to understand it. I'm just saying, just leave me alone, dude. Just come on.
I think it was good, because honestly, I didn't know this, because we've heard Bret Hart talk about it so many times, about obviously what happened that night. But you also warned that boot was coming. Like, at the same time, I never knew that until the documentary, that you did give him a heads up that it was coming, correct?
Yes, sir. 100%. Put your hand up. Do whatever you got to do, man. It is what it is. Come on, man. I love you, Bret. Don't be such a prick. That's all. Grow up.
Bill, just curious, what does an interaction between Bill Goldberg and Bret Hart look like if it were to happen tomorrow? You're in the same place at the same time, and you're within 5 feet of each other.
Well, I've always said I was going to kill him, but me, dude, I can't do that. I mean, I can't. It's just, I love the guy. He's an icon, right? I mean, just get over it. That's all. I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? As a human being, yeah, it saddens me that he can't come to grips with the fact that it sucks, man.
That it was an accident.
It was more than an accident. It sucks. And, it just sucks. But I'm not going to be a victim of it. Not anymore. I feel bad, but it's not going to draw me down and be a negative in my life by any stretch. It just is what it is. And if it comes up and I see Bret, my natural reaction is going to be to headbutt him. But I'm a 57-year-old man, dude. I can't go around and do stuff like that anymore. Even in that's just an emotional reaction. It's like having a beef with Flair, right? At this age, 70 something years. You're really, what are you going to do? Come on, please. I love you. You're an icon. Just let's move on. But it's hard. It's easy for me to say move on when it's not me and it didn't end my career. So next question.
Yeah, I want to finish it on a positive, because I know when it comes to WCW, a lot of people talk about the negative, but there were so many positives. And you and Hogan, the Nitro, the Georgia Dome, 45,000 people. I mean, a 1 week build to get that many people in the building to see that kind
Wasn't
of a
even a
match.
week. It wasn't a week.
Yeah.
It was Thursday Night Thunder when I found out about it, like everybody else.
Crazy.
It was 3 days. Are you kidding me? It was freaking unbelievable. And again, I mean, I'm going to touch on it. Everybody says, "What's the best moment of your career in wrestling?" Well, I mean, there were a number of them that were unbelievable for me, and were a huge honor. But yeah, Hogan having the faith in me in front of all my fans and the people that cheered for me when I played college football, and the Falcons, and that was awesome. But when we went off the air and they beat the hell out of me and handcuffed me to the turnbuckle, and all my Falcons teammates came out and saved me, that was the coolest night of my life in the wrestling ring. 1,000%. Because the guys that I had wanted to be my entire life, the guys that I had bled with and cried with and, gone to war with, quote unquote, on the football field, I was sitting in the corner watching them want to be me and be so excited with what the opportunity that I gave them. It was the coolest thing ever. So it was a full circle moment. So wrestling has given me so many different things. It's just, I'm forever grateful.
Bill, one last match?
Oh man, I'd love to, dude. 100%. But I have to get my torn rotator cuff taken care of finally, because yeah, we all live with these injuries, dude, right? And I'll come out and say it. When I came back with Brock, and nobody ever knew this. When I came back with Brock that first night in Denver, I blew my rotator cuff completely. And I never told anybody about it. And I kept working through it. And, because you have these sparing, you work sparingly once, twice a year, right? So I can crescendo and I can get as strong as I can. I ain't doing shit till I get that done. And that's hopefully coming up. I'm doing stem cells here soon, and then I'm going to see if surgery's needed. But yeah, man, I'd love to have one more match. You know how it is. Vince and I spoke about it, and he gave me his word, but all that stuff happened. And hey, man, I don't hold grudges. Vince gave me so many opportunities, man. I'll be forever grateful. But yeah, I would absolutely love to have that final match. I would. Am I good not having it? Yeah, I'm fine with it, but it'd be neat to have one.
Would it have to be in the WWE, or would you do it in a place like AEW, or it would just have to be in WWE?
It wouldn't have to be with anyone. I could do it myself and accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. Right? I could do the promotion myself overseas, do it in Israel, do it in India, do it somewhere, do it in Japan, maybe do one in the States. I don't know. I've thought about a lot of things, but Bully, you have seen me. I put my life on hold the last 18 years with my son. Everybody's like, "Why'd you lose so much weight?" Well, I lost so much weight because every night at the dinner table, when there's 4 steaks, I give him 3 and I take 1. Right? My life has completely been predicated upon getting my son in a situation to where the next part of his life, hopefully he's prepared for. And now my son is gone, and he's been gone for 2 to 3 weeks. And I've kind of turned back into me a little bit, good, bad, or indifferent, mainly good, because it's making me fill my time with stuff, not worrying about what the hell my son's doing and whether he needs me or not, and what's going on. So, I'm picking Muay Thai up again. I'm training again. I'm eating again. I'm taking care of myself. I'm doing things that I haven't done in so long, man, that, you never know. You never say never. As wrestlers, we never retire. We until you're dead.
I mean, I think you have that one last match left in you. On a personal level, who would you like to share the ring with if you had that one last match?
Man, I'll be honest with you. I have no idea. I haven't even thought about it, not for 2 seconds. And that's a fully 100% transparent answer. I have no idea. I was trying to shuffle it to where it was Sting, right, over the past couple of years and his retirement, and but I didn't want to take away from Sting and his whole deal, right? I have no business being anywhere near that because I don't deserve to be. It's all about him, and therefore he wasn't an option because of that. So,
very honest answer.
Yeah, it's
Well,
only what
I
I
want
know
to
how to be, man.
I want to thank you for your time. I hope you had a great Father's Day. And, that empty nest still could fuck with your head. Take it from me.
It sucks. I absolutely hate it, and he's in a great situation. He loves it there. Man, they got 170 years of NFL experience on their coaching staff, but Dion, has the prerequisite of people being good fathers before they're good coaches. And as a father who understands what my son is going through, being a walk-on at a college that's far away, states away, and he can't pick up the phone and call me to come right down the street. I mean, it's a comforting feeling knowing that if he needs somebody to put their arm around his back and say, "Hey, man, you're good," then he's got it there. So that helps. It makes it a little easier. That, and I got 200 acres and all these animals and all these freaking cars. I got a TV show coming out hopefully here in the next couple months, and now it's time to go back to work, man. Like I said, I've been on the sidelines for a little while. It's been fun. I mean, the absolute best thing I've ever been titled as is father, and hopefully I did it right, up until now, and I prepared him for what he's about to embark upon. But, now it's time to go back to work.
Well,
and I don't mean like that. I don't mean like that, right? I'm not doing that. I'm not intentionally doing that. I put a video out on my GTX convertible, right? So I do this Goldberg's Garage thing on YouTube. It's basically a way to fill my time over the past, 6-8 months. And I freaking posted a picture of it in the thumbnail, and it's of me holding the freaking belt, and I'm standing in front of the car. And so I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about it. And I'll be damned if it wasn't a barrage of, you're coming back. That's a subliminal mess. Bullshit, man. I just literally didn't think about it. And it was a good picture. So
I can hear the dirt sheets now. Goldberg says it's time to get back to work.
Exactly. You got it.
Confirmed. Goldberg Rock at WrestleMania 41.
Right.
Hey, that's a nice little payday, brother.
Yeah, no doubt. But the business, you gotta love it, man. You gotta love it.
So, Bill, what you're trying to say is you'd like to wrestle The Rock at WrestleMania 41?
Here we go, Jesus.
Cody, so it has to be for the championship. You have to go after Cody Rhodes. I get it. But when that show comes out, please, you have an open forum to promote the show. So thank you so much. And I will say this: I used to work with Coach Reeves, and Dan Reeves said that he wished he would have had you on his team. So if you would have just had a little bit later, and had Dan Reeves as your head coach, maybe things would have been a little bit different. Who knows?
You never know. Glanville was pretty close. Reeves is awesome. I know him pretty well. And to be able to play with, legends like that, it was a truly an honor, man. I played for some great coaches throughout the years.
Well, thank you so much for
coming
your time
on today.
It was awesome.
Pleasure,
thank
man.
you, sir.
It's a pleasure.